Hey, what's going on, guys? Back to work on Andy's V2. Spray paint's dry. It's very dry. I had a couple things come up, so I couldn't get back to it for a couple days, and so now it's time. I'm going to do a little bit of painting and weathering, or weathering with painting. I'm going to simulate that brownish color that's supposed to, be the wind vane on the Hales grenade, that section. I'm going to use a Archive X color called Roof Brown, and I'm just going to kind of stipple that on. And another thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to put down a light grime coat on the ribs, this section right here. And what I'm seeing there, and I'll show you here in just a second, is it looks like dirt's gotten in there in between those ribs, and it's not easy to clean out, and nobody's going to clean it out because they want it to look old and beat up, and it serves its purpose. So we're going to simulate that. I'm actually not going to just do grime. I'll probably do a very fine mist coat of the brown as well. I might actually do the brown first, and that way I can tone down the brown a little bit. Because the grime is like something I'll thin down really fine, and I'll just mist it on, and it'll kind of bring everything down and make everything look a little bit dirty. It's very, very great color for that, actually. Used in model building all the time. It's like probably my favorite color for weathering. So anyways, let me show you what I'm seeing in this reference photo. Alright, we've got the V2 here. This is somebody's replica. I'm not sure who took this photo. I think it's Haloax's photo, but shout out to him again for letting me borrow this photo. I didn't ask permission, I'm just doing it. Shh, don't tell him. Anyway, what you can see in here is there's some brown color in here, and then you can see the kind of filmy, dirty white color in here. Let me zoom this in. So see how this is kind of like splotchy? You can see like the dark between, which is like the black. So they probably painted the whole thing black, and then they painted over the top with a brush. They didn't airbrush that. It doesn't look like, because it'd be smooth and even. So they probably just did a hasty brush job with it, and got it on there. And even down here, it's the same thing. It's just kind of brushed. So I'm going to plan to like kind of stipple it in, try to simulate this effect, and then down here, I see a lot of different color. I see the grime color, which is this kind of a stone color. Like thin that down to where it's almost like a wash, but then I'm going to put it through the airbrush, so it'll be that real dusting, sort of dirty layer. And then I see some warmth, which would be the brown. I might use a little bit of like a yellowish orange color too, like a rust color maybe, because I see a little bit of that in that as well. So anyway, yeah, you can see the color in here, just right through there. All these little spots, they're all just kind of dirty looking. Alright, I found this old crappy brush. I've used it for other things, but the bristles on it are boogered up, but they're thick, nasty bristles. And it was a cheap brush, and I'm just going to cut this short a little bit. Scissors would be a better choice, but I don't have them handy, so I'm going to do it this way. So now it's better for stippling. almost saw a mouse while I was doing that stippling. I want to see if I can find him. I'm going to see if, I don't know if I'll be able to catch him. I doubt I'll be able to catch him. I did catch one the other day in my shed. Caught him in a bucket. So we'll see. We'll figure out what I'm going to put him in. And try not to get bit. Well, no luck with that. I didn't think I would. They're so fast, and I saw them run along the wall behind the little wood bin and then from the vacuum over a little bit further, so he probably just kept going. I couldn't see him past that, so how am I going to get rid of this? Maybe build a trap, maybe get a cat. I don't know. Anyways, what was I doing? Okay, this has got to dry, and that's the other part that I need to weather. I don't want to mess with it while it's wet and drying. I guess I could try to heat gun it, but that's only like surface dry. It's still curing. Anyways, maybe I'll just pick it up tomorrow. I'll go look up ways to build a mousetrap. Alright, I am back. It is the next day. We are going to start doing a little airbrushing now. We're going to dust on a little depot buff, and then we're going to dust on a little bit of grime. Depot buff is a little bit warmer than this. It's got just a hint of yellow in it. I can see a little yellow in the reference pictures. Hopefully I'm right, but I mean, the thing is, it's a dusting. It's barely there, just a hint. So that's what we're doing. Let's get to airbrushing. I made it specifically uneven on purpose, because that's how weathering is. If it's too even and you're only doing one thing, you didn't do it right. Alright guys, I'm going to demonstrate grime just because I think it's really cool. So this thing, this ATTE toy, is filthy. If I wipe the dirt off, we can see how much darker that gets right there. So I'm just going to hit it with some of that grime and simulate that level of dirt on it real quick. And there we go. It's muted back down. Looks like it's dirty, but it's not. It's just painted. Right now, this looks like a child painted it. It looks silly. It's because I haven't pulled the stencils and tape off. But this piece, and actually I think I can pull all the stencils off now. So let's start picking some stencils off. Okay, after all that, still not done. But it's looking a lot like a V2 now. I've got a lot of paint to scrape off, like the edge of the midder there, and there's some other little spots that need to be cleaned up, and the ribs I need to kind of scrape back a little bit. They shouldn't be so ratty. I mean, they should be ratty, but they shouldn't be up on the edge. Some of the paint, which is this is what I was afraid of, is like when you put tape down, if there's any tiny little bit of a gap, there'll be a capillary effect and it'll suck the paint under the tape. And so you get lines and you get weird edges and stuff like that. And that's why I don't like masking with paint and leaving it on for days. You know, usually if I mask something with tape, I take it off immediately before it's even dry, because the paint can't pull under the tape. It's called capillary effect. Anyway, that's my preference, but I didn't have the luxury of time to be able to do that, and then also the spray paint just takes a long time, and I wasn't going to airbrush over the top of the spray paint or brush that other brown paint over the top of the spray paint until it was dry. So the situation, then I can't talk. The situation dictated leaving the tape on. Anyway, I've got more things I got to do. I got to actually beat up the pommel. I got to put some little scratches and dings in the bottom of that. So I'm going to get to that stuff here, but not until tomorrow, because I've got to go do other things now. I only have the time to pull off those stencils and kind of slap it together loosely. I haven't put any screws in anything yet, but yeah, I like the way it looks. I might knock back the brown just a hair in spots, you know, with some like fine steel wool and stuff. Make it so the black shows through just a touch more in places and make it a little more cruddy looking. Alright, so the lightsaber's starting to look pretty good, but I'm still not quite happy with it. I think that it's a little too even, it's a little too clean on the bare metal. I think that, you know, I've dulled down the metal, and I think that it would have rub spots where it would be shinier, you know, because you use it, but it's old, and so it's going to have, you know, dulled spots. And so when I was scraping off that last little part, I saw that, oh, it's got like, you know, where the blade had scraped just a tiny little bit off, it got a little bit shinier, and it's going to flatten out, but it's going to be different than the other part. So I'm like, I really like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing on all the ribs. I'm going to give them a little scrape, just on little edges and stuff like that, just to give them a little bit different texture. I think it's going to give a little bit more depth of weathering. And I'll probably do the same thing maybe on the pommel. I'm also going to try to give that a little something. I'm probably going to give that a wash too, with some sort of paint, like really thin down, get stuff in the crevices, and you know, make it look like there's some muck in the corners and whatnot. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to give it little scratches and scrapes. To press record. I just realized that. Oops. I basically just rubbed some paint on it, a little bit of thinner, and worked it into the crevices, and then wiped off the excess, and now it's all dirtied up, and there's still some gunk in the dents and dings and whatnot, so it looks more real. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. I know it's kind of a weird place to leave off because I'm so close to done, but I actually should have enough to fill up another video, and I've shot plenty for this one. So we're going to make it one more video. I thought I could get it done in 4, but it's going to be 5. Check out the blog, propchopshop.com. There's a link in the description. You can click on it. It takes you right there. I've not been very good about updating it. I need to get on that. And you can hit me up on the RPF. New Magrathea is my ID. Facebook, of course. And I got some big projects coming up, like really big projects coming up that are going to be really cool. Not going to say what they are yet. One should be getting started very soon, like very soon. Like I have everything sitting right over that way. It's just sitting there waiting. And then the other thing I got to deal with is that mouse. And I'm not real thrilled with that, and you guys will get to see updates on whether or not I catch them and how my mouse trap works and how crazy I'm going to go. Anyways, that's going to be it. So I'll see you in the next video. Peace.